Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. Get ready to take a closer look at a small copper coin that could hold a massive surprise. Yes, we're talking about the humble yet fascinating 1961 D Lincoln penny. At first glance, it may look like just another ordinary 1-cent coin. It's coppery, it's small, and most people probably wouldn't give it a second thought. But today, we're going to show you why this coin deserves your full attention. Because tucked away in coin jars, old drawers, and dusty collections might be a 1961 D Lincoln penny that's worth more than a luxury car. Sounds unbelievable? Stick with me, because we're about to uncover the story, the mystery, and the shocking value behind this rare coin. Let's start with a little history. The 1961 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark just below the date on the coin's obverse side. This coin is part of the legendary Lincoln Cents series, which began in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and Lincoln's strong profile has been proudly stamped on this coin for over a century. In 1961, over 1.75 billion Lincoln pennies were minted at the Denver Mint alone. That's right, billions with a B. So, naturally, you might wonder, how could something so common ever be rare or valuable? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Even though there were billions produced, not all pennies are created equal. A tiny number of these 1961 D pennies were struck with unique features. Some have minting errors, some were preserved in pristine condition, and some have characteristics that set them apart from the rest of the crowd. So what exactly should you look for? First, let's talk about condition. Collectors go crazy over coins that are in uncirculated, mint state condition, meaning they look just as fresh as the day they were struck. No scratches, no wear, no fading. These coins are usually graded on a scale called the Sheldon scale, ranging from 1 to 70. Coins that score above 65 are incredibly rare for everyday circulated money, and they fetch big bucks in auctions. And now, onto the real gems. Mint errors. Imagine a coin that was struck off-center, or one that has a double image on the lettering or date. These are called die errors, and they happen when the stamping process goes slightly wrong at the mint. Instead of being tossed out, these error coins sometimes make their way into circulation. Because they're so rare, collectors love them. And the more dramatic or unusual the error, the higher the value climbs. Some 1961 D Lincoln pennies have been found with repunched mint marks. That's when the little d below the year was punched into the coin more than once, slightly offset. Others may show signs of doubled dies, especially in the wording Liberty or the motto, "In God We Trust." These aren't flaws, they're collectibles. And serious collectors are willing to pay serious money for them. Another important factor is the luster and strike quality. A sharp, bright coin with perfect detail and no contact marks can skyrocket in value, especially when certified by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. If your 1961 D penny is graded as a high mint state, let's say MS67 red or higher, you're looking at a coin that could command thousands of dollars. But wait, there's more. Once in a while, a truly extraordinary specimen makes it to auction. It might have a near-perfect grade, a stunning red luster, and a combination of error features that make it truly one of a kind. These coins break records. They become the holy grails of penny collecting. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, one of these rare, high-grade 1961 D Lincoln pennies, with all the right features, sharp strike, perfect preservation, and incredible collector appeal, has been known to reach a jaw-dropping value of $105,000. Yes, you heard that right, one small copper coin, worth more than most people's entire car or college tuition. So, what does this mean for you? It means that you might have a valuable treasure hiding in plain sight. Go through your old coin jars, check your grandparents' collections, or take a second look at that random penny in your pocket. The 1961 D Lincoln penny might just surprise you. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next coin discovery. You never know, your next big find could be just one penny away. Coin number 2. Where we dive deep into the incredible world of coins, currency, and unexpected treasures hiding in plain sight. Today's video is all about a tiny copper coin you've probably seen 100 times, or maybe even have stashed away in a jar at home, the 1966 Lincoln penny. It's small, it's old, and it's one of the most commonly overlooked coins in American history. But what if I told you that this 1-cent piece, if it has the right features, could be worth more than a brand new sports car or even a down payment on a house? That's right, this little penny could be a hidden jackpot. So grab your coin collection, sit back, and stay tuned, because the story of the 1966 Lincoln penny might just surprise you. Let's start by taking a step back in time. The year was 1966. America was in the heart of the space race, the Beatles were dominating the radio, and the Vietnam War was unfolding. It was a time of cultural transformation and major changes, and the US Mint was no exception. In fact, 1966 was part of a unique transitional period in American coinage history. The US Mint had just faced a coin shortage in the early 1960s, and in response, some major changes were made. For a few years, including 1965, 1966, and 1967, the Mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks to deter collectors from hoarding coins. That means that unlike most Lincoln cents, you won't see a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco on any 1966 penny. They all look the same, no mint mark, just the date. So if all the coins look the same, what makes one so much more valuable than the others? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and unique minting errors. First, let's talk about condition. Most coins that were used in everyday transactions, especially pennies, suffer wear and tear over the decades. They get scratched, lose their shine, and often fade. But a small number of 1966 Lincoln pennies were carefully preserved. These are known as uncirculated or mint state coins, and they're highly sought after by collectors. Now, within the group of mint state coins, there's a special subset known as red coins, not red as in bright red, but rather the original coppery red tone that the penny had when it was first struck. Over time, most pennies turn brown from oxidation, but red coins retain their original brilliance. A 1966 Lincoln penny with full red luster and no blemishes can command a serious price in the collector's market, but what really sends the value through the roof are minting errors. You see, every so often, a coin gets struck with a misaligned die, or it receives a double impression, something that shouldn't have happened, but did. These are called doubled dies, and they can cause features like the date or the lettering to appear doubled or distorted. Some 1966 Lincoln pennies show subtle but valuable doubling in the words Liberty or In God We Trust, and these error coins can be worth much more than their face value. There are also known cases of off-center strikes, where the design isn't perfectly aligned, and die cracks, or a flaw in the die leaves a visible crack or line across the coin's surface. These kinds of errors are like typos in a book, rare, unintentional, and incredibly desirable for collectors. Another thing to keep in mind is strike quality. Even among uncirculated coins, not all are struck equally. A sharply struck 1966 penny with deep detail and no contact marks is much more valuable than one that's weakly struck or has nicks and dents. That's why collectors often turn to third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC to evaluate their coins. A high grade, like MS66 or above, can add thousands of dollars to a coin's value. But here's the really exciting part: every so often, a perfect storm of conditions comes together. A 1966 Lincoln penny with a flawless red finish, a rare doubling error, and a high mint state grade. These coins are extremely rare, and when one hits the market, collectors are willing to pay a premium for the chance to own it. And now, here's the moment you've been waiting for: one such rare and remarkable 1966 Lincoln penny, featuring pristine mint condition, original red luster, and a highly desirable minting error, was once valued at an astounding $95,000. Yes, you heard that right, $95,000 for a single penny. That's the kind of life-changing discovery we all dream about. Imagine finding that coin in your change jar, or tucked away in a forgotten collection handed down by a grandparent. It's out there, and it might be closer than you think. So, the next time you come across an old penny, take a closer look. Check the date, inspect the condition, and keep an eye out for those rare error features. You might just be holding a hidden treasure in the palm of your hand. Thanks for joining us today on this exciting coin adventure. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that could turn your spare change into serious cash. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare coin or think you might have one hiding at home. Coin number 3. We're diving into a classic piece of American pocket change that could be worth a whole lot more than 1 cent. That's right, we're talking about the 1968 Lincoln penny. You've probably held one of these in your hand at some point without giving it a second thought. But the truth is, not all 1968 pennies are created equal. Some of them, just a few, incredibly rare examples, have become the stuff of coin collecting legend. And believe it or not, one of these little copper coins has sold for a jaw-dropping sum of money that most people could only dream of. So, what makes this coin so special? Why is the 1968 Lincoln penny one of the most exciting coins for collectors to look out for? Let's take a journey back to the late 1960s and find out. It was 1968. The world was changing fast. The Vietnam War was raging, civil rights movements were pushing forward, and the United States was preparing to send astronauts to the moon. Amidst all of this, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing coins for the growing American economy. That year, Lincoln cents were minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint produced a slightly different version of the coin. You can tell them apart by the tiny mint mark under the date. A D means it was minted in Denver, an S for San Francisco, and if there's no letter at all, it was struck in Philadelphia. Now, the 1968 penny is part of the iconic Lincoln cents series, which started all the way back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. The design on the front, or obverse, features Lincoln's profile facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" above, liberty on the left, and the year on the right. The reverse, until 1959, featured 2 wheat stalks, what collectors call the wheat penny. But starting in 1959, the back of the coin was changed to display the Lincoln Memorial. So the 1968 penny has that memorial design on the back, and while it might seem ordinary, it's the fine details that can turn this coin into a gold mine. There are 3 main factors that can transform a regular 1968 penny into a highly valuable collector's item: minting location, condition, and errors. Let's talk about condition first. Collectors always look for coins in the best possible state. That means sharp details, strong strike, no scratches, and original luster. A coin like that is known as mint state, and they are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A Lincoln penny graded as MS66, MS67, or even higher is incredibly rare and worth far more than face value, especially when it retains its original red color from the copper alloy. But what truly gets collectors excited are minting errors. These are unintentional mistakes that happen during the striking process, and they can make a coin extremely rare. Some 1968 Lincoln pennies were struck with doubled dies, which means certain parts of the coin's design, like the date, the words "Liberty," or "In God We Trust," appear doubled. These doubled die errors can be subtle or dramatic, but either way, they're a collector's dream. Another rare and valuable feature is a repunched mint mark, or RPM. This is when the mint mark, like the S for San Francisco, was punched more than once, slightly off from the original, creating a blurry or doubled mint mark. RPMs are uncommon and very collectible, especially on 1968 pennies from San Francisco. There's also the ever-interesting off-center strikes, where the design isn't centered correctly on the coin. Or die cracks, where the die used to strike the coin has a flaw that shows up as a raised line on the surface of the coin. All of these errors are accidental, but they add massive value to the coin because of their rarity. Now here's a twist you might not expect: the 1968 S-proof pennies. These were specially made for collectors and never meant for circulation. They have a mirror-like finish and are struck multiple times to make the details super sharp. Most proof coins aren't worth huge money on their own, but if you find one with a doubled die error, that changes everything. So let's paint a picture. Imagine a 1968 Lincoln penny from the San Francisco Mint. It's in perfect condition, mint state, bright red color, no wear, sharp details. On top of that, it has a doubled die error. And maybe, just maybe, it even has a repunched mint mark. You send it in to be professionally graded and authenticated, and it comes back with one of the highest grades possible. Now your 1-cent coin is no longer just pocket change. It's a collector's gem. And now comes the big question you've been waiting for: how much could one of these rare and extraordinary 1968 Lincoln pennies actually be worth? Well, brace yourself. Because one of these highly desirable examples, flawless condition, rare minting error, and elite grade, has been valued at an incredible $90,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny. 1 cent worth $90,000. So the next time you come across an old penny, don't toss it aside. Take a good look. Check the date, check for a mint mark, and look closely at the lettering and design. You never know, you could be holding a small fortune in the palm of your hand. Thanks for watching, and if you're just as fascinated by coins as we are, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about the hidden value in your pocket. Drop a comment below if you've got a 1968 penny in your collection, we'd love to hear your stories. Coin number 4. We're going to shine a spotlight on a very special piece of American coinage that's quietly gaining the attention of collectors and enthusiasts across the country, the 1971 D Lincoln penny. At first glance, this coin may look like just another worn-out cent from decades ago. It's small, it's copper-colored, and it probably passed through thousands of hands over the years. But behind its simple appearance lies a fascinating history and, in rare cases, an absolutely jaw-dropping value. So get comfortable, because we're about to take a deep dive into what makes the 1971 D Lincoln penny such a remarkable and collectible coin, and why you should be checking your change a little more closely from now on. Let's go back to 1971. It was a time of change and uncertainty in America. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, the counterculture movement was peaking, and President Nixon was in office. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was continuing its long-standing tradition of producing Lincoln cents, a coin that had already been circulating for over 60 years. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin featured Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse, or front, side. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it quickly became a beloved piece of American currency. By 1971, the reverse design featured the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a detail added in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This design remained in use until the early 2000s. Now, the coin we're focusing on today is the 1971 D Lincoln cent. The D mint mark beneath the year tells us it was produced at the Denver Mint. That year, the Denver facility struck over 2.8 billion Lincoln pennies, yes, with a B. So how could any of those possibly be worth more than 1 cent? Well, this is where things get really interesting. Even though billions were made, not all of them were created equally. Within that massive production run, a few rare coins slipped through the cracks, coins with exceptional conditions, unusual features, or minting errors. And these coins are exactly what collectors are hunting for. Let's start by talking about condition. Most coins that go into circulation get banged up pretty quickly. They get dropped, scraped, and tossed in change jars. But once in a while, a coin is pulled from circulation almost immediately and preserved in perfect shape. These are known as uncirculated coins, and when professionally graded and authenticated, they can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars just for being in pristine condition. A step beyond that are coins graded as mint state, or MS. These are coins that show no signs of wear and retain their original luster. On the Sheldon grading scale, which ranges from 1 to 70, a coin rated MS 67 or higher is incredibly rare for a coin that was intended for everyday use. And if that coin happens to be a 1971 D penny with a high mint state grade in full red color, you've got something truly valuable. But the real magic happens when a coin like this also has a minting error. You see, minting errors are like the typos of the coin world. And while they might seem like mistakes, they actually make a coin far more desirable to collectors because they're rare, unintentional, and no two are exactly the same. With the 1971 D Lincoln penny, one of the most notable and valuable errors is the doubled die, where the design elements, such as the date or the inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust, appear to be doubled. These doubled images aren't caused by wear, they're the result of a misalignment during the minting process, and they can turn an ordinary penny into a one-of-a-kind collectible. There are also off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks to look out for. An off-center strike means the coin design was stamped off from the center, resulting in a lopsided appearance. A repunched mint mark happens when the letter D was accidentally stamped more than once in slightly different positions. Each of these errors adds to the rarity, and ultimately the value, of the coin. Now here's something even more fascinating. Some 1971 D pennies were struck on the wrong type of metal planchet altogether. There have been rare discoveries of coins struck on dime or foreign coin blanks, making them weigh less than a normal penny and giving them a different tone or thickness. These are called wrong planchet errors, and they're extremely valuable. So let's imagine this: you find a 1971 D penny that looks just a little different. Maybe the lettering looks doubled. Maybe the mint mark isn't quite aligned. Maybe it has a bright red tone and hardly a scratch on it. You decide to have it professionally graded, and it comes back with an incredibly high mint state rating and confirmation of a rare error, and now, you're not holding a penny anymore. You're holding a piece of numismatic history. A treasure, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. 1 Such incredibly rare and perfect 1971 D Lincoln penny, flawless in condition, complete with a stunning mint error and exceptional collector appeal, has been valued at a breathtaking $83,000. Yes, that's right, $83,000 for a single 1 cent coin. So next time you dig through your change, don't overlook the pennies, especially those from 1971. What might seem like pocket change could actually be life-changing. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future coin discoveries. And if you've ever come across a strange or rare penny, share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Coin number 5. We're about to uncover the story of a coin that's passed through millions of hands, slipped into countless jars, and been overlooked more times than we can count, the 1972 D Lincoln penny. And now, before you dismiss it as just another old cent, hear this: one of these pennies, under the right conditions, could be worth more than a luxury vacation, more than a new car, and even more than many people's annual salary. So stick around, because this small copper coin might just be the most valuable penny you've never noticed. Let's set the stage with a little history. The year was 1972. The Vietnam War was still in motion, the Watergate scandal had just begun to bubble, and technology was evolving rapidly across the globe. Amidst all this, the US Mint was producing coins like never before. In fact, that year, the Denver Mint alone produced over 2.6 billion Lincoln cents, that's billion with a B. And yet, despite the massive number minted, not all of these coins are equal. Some of them, just a rare few, hold secrets that make them incredibly valuable to collectors today. The 1972 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which you can identify by the tiny D Mint mark beneath the year on the coin's obverse side. Like all Lincoln cents since 1959, it features the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, with the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the front. It's a classic design that every American has seen, but most people don't realize just how many variations and surprises exist within this humble coin. And now, here's where things start to get interesting. There are 3 key ingredients that can make a 1972 D penny go from ordinary to extraordinary: condition, rarity, and mint errors. And if your coin happens to check all 3 boxes, you could be holding onto a serious payday. Let's start with condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale, ranging from 1 to 70, and anything above a 65 is considered extremely high quality, especially for coins that were intended for everyday circulation. If you find a 1972 D penny that looks almost brand new, with full detail and a bright red copper shine, you're already in good territory. Collectors prize coins that still have that original red tone, the natural luster of fresh copper. Most pennies turn brown over time due to oxidation, so keeping that reddish glow intact for more than 50 years? That's rare. And next up, let's talk about mint errors. Minting errors are like the golden ticket of coin collecting. They're accidental, unpredictable, and incredibly collectible. In the case of the 1972 D penny, some of the most valuable versions include doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks. Doubled die coins are created when the coin's design is imprinted twice by mistake, causing the text or date to appear doubled. While the Philadelphia minted 1972 Lincoln penny is more famously known for its strong doubled die errors, some rare examples of the 1972 D penny have also surfaced showing doubling in areas like Liberty, In God We Trust, or even the date itself. These varieties are far less common, which means they can fetch even more on the collector market. Another error to keep an eye out for is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. In these cases, the D was punched more than once, leaving behind a blurry or doubled appearance. These small quirks can be very valuable, especially when paired with a coin in exceptional condition. And then there are off-center strikes, where the design was misaligned when the coin was stamped. Some are just slightly off, while others are dramatically mistruck, with part of the design missing entirely. The more dramatic the error, and the better the condition, the more valuable the coin becomes. And now, let's not forget about the planchet errors. These occur when a coin is struck on a blank that doesn't meet the usual specifications. Maybe it's too light, too heavy, or made from the wrong metal altogether. A 1972 D penny struck on a dime planchet or foreign coin blank? That's the kind of oddity collectors dream about. So how do you know if your penny is worth anything? Start by examining it closely under a magnifying glass. Look for sharp details, doubling, off-center designs, or anything that just looks unusual. Compare it to other 1972 pennies and see if something stands out. And if it looks promising, consider having it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade paired with a rare error can send the value of your coin into the stratosphere. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, one such remarkable 1972 Lincoln penny featuring stunning red luster, flawless mint state condition, and a rare minting error has been valued at an astonishing $78,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single penny, just 1 cent, worth $78,000. So the next time you're sorting through a pile of change or flipping through an old coin collection, don't rush past that 1972 penny. It might be the most valuable thing you own and you wouldn't even know it until you take a closer look. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video interesting, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next amazing coin story. And if you've ever come across a strange or rare penny, tell us about it in the comments. We love hearing from you. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep searching, and remember, sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest value.